All right, everybody, how's it going? It is Tuesday, November 14th, 2023. And of course, we just finished with week 10 of the NFL. So, it's only right, only kind of natural we jump into week 11 and go over those games. Yeah, week 10 was really crazy. We had 6 game-winning kicks, which sets an NFL record. I don't think we've ever had a week in NFL history where 6 teams where the game was tied or down by just a couple points, kick a field goal, win the game, avoid overtime. Because of that, we could have went 4 of those games we ended up getting wrong, actually. 2 of them we got right thanks to the kicks, but 4 of them we were kind of doomed by it. And we wound up going 8-6 last week, which isn't the greatest. But again, we could have went 12-2. Sometimes it's just like the cookie crumbles the wrong way and you get like an unlucky break or two. But that's the fun of picking games. That's why this is always a fun thing to do. It's fun to keep track of things, see how you do, and, adds a little bit of excitement to the game. Before we jump into the games and everything like that, make sure you leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new around here, and leave your picks down below with how your overall season's doing, how you did last week. Again, the picks are the most important thing, and I like to see how people are thinking about the games and all that fun stuff. So, and again, sorry to include this at the beginning of the video. It just helps it do better, yada, yada, yada. Anyway, let's jump into the video then. Pick'em record, as we kind of already went over this. We went 8-6 last week. Not the best record, but hey, it was a really weird week of last second games. Again, we could have went 12-2. But overall, we're 90-60, which is pretty solid. Solid 60%. I don't know how it's 150 games even though. I don't think that's right. I feel like I'm missing games, but I'm not. The bye weeks for this week will be pretty simple. The Patriots, Falcons, Colts, and Saints are off this week. So if you're a fan of the Patriots, you don't have to watch them lose this week. Saints and Colts and Falcons is, those 3 teams are pretty mid. So the Patriots are the bad ones. It is what it is. We have a few good games, and I think one of the best ones is right away on Thursday night this weekend. It's like all the primetime games this week are good for the first time in like ever. Excuse me, little burp. It could be a sign. The Bengals and the Ravens take each other on. Both of these teams were victims of the last second field goal. Excuse me. Ravens are 3.5-point favorites with an over-under of 46. Again, kind of home team, kind of short week home team, kind of always give the favorite to that situation. But yeah, the Browns beat the Ravens on a last-second field goal. The Texans beat the Bengals on a last-second field goal. This is kind of a rare matchup where both teams lose in a similar fashion, then they play each other the next week, on a short week at that. The reason I'm leaning Bengals in this game is because Hendrickson might be out again. I don't know how healthy Chase is going to be. We don't know what's going to happen with Higgins. So when you have these kind of questions going into a short week, and we kind of seen a little bit of struggle out of the receiving core for the Bengals last week. Not a ton. It's just Boyd wasn't super dependable in that big situation. And you're going up against a much better defense that the Ravens have compared to the Texans, a much better offense than the Texans have, even though Stroud and company are playing unreal. But again, the consistency and like the experience of the Ravens will come into this game. Short week, Ravens are home, dealing with less injuries than the Bengals are. Because of those things, I'm like, I have to kind of lead toward the Ravens in this one. And, it's like a rivalry game, home split. I know the Ravens won the first game, but the Bengals really weren't in the best shape that game, so it's kind of hard to use that as like a scope and scale game. And really, the Ravens weren't at full power when they played that game either, so it'll be interesting. We'll see how effective Marlon Humphrey is, so that could make a big thing for the Ravens. But again, I think the Bengals possibly being without Hendrickson again, plus we don't really know the status of the receiving core, kind of puts this game in the favor of the Ravens. All right, let's go on to the next game here. Oh boy, I guess this is more of one of them games where it's like, well, we know the Cowboys are going to win, but by how many? The Cowboys are coming off an ass beating of the Giants, 49-17. I think they've outscored the Giants. What is this now? Like 89-17 this year. That's an insane margin of victory. Excuse me. That big drink of water I just took, it will count as my analysis for this game. So yeah, I have the Cowboys winning 35-14. The Panthers got beat by the Bears, and the Cowboys are favored by 10.5, and I think they'll win by that much. And I think the Cowboys will provide a good deal of the over-under of 41.5 in this one. Give me the Cowboys, and they'll cover. Normally I don't really care about the lines, but like whenever a team like plays team like the Cowboys plays a team like the Panthers, I just kind of look at that situation and go, well, let's just look at the line and see if they'll cover the big spread. The Steelers take on the Browns. Browns are favored by 4 with an over under 37.5. Normally I'd pick the Browns. The Steelers beat the Packers and the Browns beat the Ravens, as we discussed. But there's a couple of big factors in this year where the Steelers defense is playing lights out, astronomical. They're pretty much the reason the Steelers have these 6 wins. So the Steelers have this weird bit of magic going on this year where I think the Browns do too, but like the Browns are finally playing decent offense. They're finally Deshaun Watson looked a little bit better. Their defense is really good. But there's like this weird thing when the Steelers and Browns play each other. If the Steelers have like a heartbeat and they're like a decent team, they seemingly always can beat whatever Browns team is thrown in front of them. I believe the Steelers beat them earlier this year. It's just this weird curse that the Browns have, is when no matter, it seems like what happens when they play the Steelers like somehow win, except if it's that playoff game. Or if the Steelers are really, really in a bad spot. But I don't know. I just feel like, I guess this is my upset pick of the week. I don't really know if it's an upset. It doesn't seem like one, but it's just like, it's something in my gut is telling me like any other situation, I'd pick the Browns easily at home, bad offense. Like, you know what I mean? They're going up. It's like, this is like a Browns home run pick, but at the same like weird gut feeling, it's like, man, the Steelers just have something against these dudes. It's like when the Patriots play the Jets, you're just like, yeah, the Jets should win this game, but I guess they're not going to. I don't know. It's just one of them weird gut feelings. Whenever the Steelers are good, they beat the Browns. I don't know why that is. It's like the weirdest thing ever. All right. Oh boy. I guess Justin Fields will be back in this game, so I gave the Bears some points. The Lions are favored by 10 with an over-under of 46.5. The Bears play the Lions in Detroit, so that's going to be a nightmare situation for the Bears. Playing in Detroit's going to be hard. Lions play their best football at home. Lions are fully healthy. The Bears are coming into this game pretty happy. They'll probably be having Justin Fields back. You know, they'll probably have a decent time with DJ Moore. Again, I do see the Bears being able to score in this game, but I don't think they'll be able to compete against the Lions team that we just seen what their offense is capable of doing. Like, they just basically were just like, all right, Chargers, every time you score, we're going to score a lot easier looking, and we're going to do it like, you know, on our very own pace. Like, I don't know. The Lions kind of dominated the Chargers. Save like the final score in that game could have been like 48-38 if the Lions didn't just like randomly go cold at the 1 yard line in like their third drive of the game. So I don't know. Bears will probably keep it like deceptively close and maybe put up a little bit of a fight, especially toward the end. But the Lions are going to come out and just destroy it early on, and then the Bears will be able to claw their way back in, and then Detroit probably scores another late touchdown to kind of just remind everybody what's going on. Give me the Lions over the Bears, easy pick. Ugh. All right, who cares? No, just kidding. The Los Angeles Chargers take on the Green Bay Packers. Chargers are favored by 3 with an over-under of 43.5. As we just discussed, the Chargers lost a really close game to the Lions. Their offense looked really good. Their defense did absolutely nothing. The Packers, we discussed as well, they lost to the Steelers. The Packers offense looked a little bit better against a really good defense, so I could imagine, you know, the Packers will have a little bit of offense in this game, but inevitably the situation for me becomes like, I don't really know if the Packers defensively can do enough to stop the Chargers offense. So there's like that pressure going on for them. And the Chargers do beat like lesser teams than them. So I kind of like that. I don't know. This feels like a Chargers win. If both defenses kind of check out of the game, it's like I infinitely trust the Chargers more, even though they did just lose that to the Lions. But the Lions offense is like a top 5, top 3 unit. And neither one of these two teams are like scary, you know. I'll take the Chargers because the Packers are, you know, minus like 2 games. They've been minus like 3 games. They've been pretty dead in the water on offense all year. So kind of a hard pick right there. This game feels harder to pick than it was. And like, I don't know why I struggled with it, but I weirdly struggled with this game. The Arizona Cardinals take on the Houston Texans. Texans are favored by 4.5 with an over under of 47.5. I think it's because Kyler's back and the Cardinals won that first game against a decent Falcons team. So I'm looking at Houston going, is this going to be the game that like trips them up and like sends them on a weird losing streak, like which happens to some like to rookie quarterbacks sometimes? I don't think so. I think they'll be able to handle this game because again, Cardinals don't have the best defense. The Houston defense should be able to kind of shut down the Cardinals offense a little bit, or at least be able to contain them a little bit better. I don't know. Texans are playing good. Cardinals are a pretty bad football team right now, despite Kyler being back. Again, I don't know why this game is giving me pause. The Texans are the 7th seed. The Cardinals are fighting for the 1 pick. This is like the easiest, just like, yeah, just take Arizona. Or we'll take Houston. It's the easiest. But what if Kyler, But either way, I do think Houston's playing really good defensively. The way that they were able to handle the Bengals gives me a lot of hope. It shows me that they can play against good teams. They can play against bad teams. So I'm going to take Houston. Though I do think Arizona keeps it very, very close. This is another one that gave me like weird pause because it's a division game and I have no idea how to pick the Titans. The Titans take on the Jaguars. Titans lost 20-6 to the Buccaneers. Jaguars lost 34-3 to the 49ers. So it was a bad week for these guys. The Jaguars are 6.5 point favorites with an over-under of 40.5. So basically in this game, I think the Jaguars will bounce back really good. The Titans have nowhere near the defense that the 49ers have, so we'll probably see the Jaguars offense look a little bit more like it used to and more regular. For the Titans, I think we've seen the return to earth of Will Levis. He's got a few things he's got to improve on. The Titans offense just vanished that week. They just did nothing, got completely shut down. So it's kind of hard to be like, yeah, they'll figure it out this week. It's like, well, maybe. They'll probably be a little bit better than they were last week. But again, they got a bad line. Receiving core is kind of not that great outside of Hopkins. They got a good run game, but again, bad offensive line. I don't know what Will Levis is supposed to do. Jaguars defense can probably deal with that. They're going to be out there trying to make themselves look better after a bad showing against the 49ers. So I like the Jaguars in this one to have a nice rebound win. All right. The Raiders take on the Dolphins in what could be a pretty good game. I think the line is a little crazy. Dolphins are favored by 11.5 with an over-under of 47.5. I got the Dolphins winning, but I don't think they're going to win by this crazy amount. I think the Dolphins will be able to shut down the Raiders' offense pretty well. But 11.5 feels like a little bit too crazy of a line. I do think the Dolphins win. But I think defensively, the Raiders will be able to like shut it down a little bit. Max Crosby will be able to put some good pressure on the Dolphins. And we'll see them kind of like, look, it'll just be a normal win. But I don't think the Raiders are about to get bounced that badly. Though that game against the Jets was miserable. Oh, I don't care about this game. The Giants take on the Commanders. I got the Commanders winning. Who I'm not talking about that game. Anyway, Tampa Bay Buccaneers play the San Francisco 49ers. I guess the Commanders win and it helps the Giants draft stuff. I don't want to talk about Tommy DeVito, dude. I feel bad for that team. Like, what am I supposed to say about the Giants? It's just like, ooh, man, it's bad over there. Y'all need to get a quarterback. Never mind my thing about the line. Really, just draft a quarterback. It's probably time. Holy crap. That's bad. The Bucs play the 49ers. 49ers are favored by 10.5 with an over-under of 41.5. We've already discussed both these games. The Bucs won, the 49ers won, so it's kind of a cool thing. Both win via blowout. The reason I have the 49ers winning is the same reason all of us have the 49ers winning. With the addition of Chase Young, that defensive front is now unstoppable. I could see them causing all kinds of problems for the Bucs all game, which... the improved defensive front is helping the secondary look better. So now we're going to see another version of the 49ers. People have to somehow figure out how to stop again because now they have like 5 guys that can kill you on the defensive front. And I don't really know what you do. I don't know what Tampa's going to do. Good luck. I'm not jealous of the Buccaneers having to play this team like at all. Plus they're fully healthy on offense. I really should have picked the Niners last week. All right, Jets versus Bills in what could be a really good game. Bills are 6.5 point favorites with an over-under of 40.5. The Jets coming off the loss, and the Bills lost to the Broncos. I couldn't believe it. They were the last of the walk-off field goals last night. It was a pretty good little loss for Buffalo, who desperately needs to win this game in order to save their season. Because if they lose this one, and fall to 5-6, they can all but kiss the playoff hopes goodbye. But I do think the Bills rebound, get a win here. Home game versus a bad Jets offense, so I can see this Bills defense that was really good last night completely shutting down the Jets offense. I know the Bills struggle versus the Jets, and they don't play their best football offensively when they do play the Jets, but I think the Bills are going to have to be super focused, super ready, completely into this game, and I think that they can pull this off. Again, if the Jets win, they pretty much end Buffalo's season. Because again, I don't know, 6-7 losses. I don't really know if Buffalo's can rebound from that. But again, I do think the Bills dig deep. The defense steps way up. The Jets really don't get much done on offense because, again, super limited Jets offense. Bills defense can shut down the only thing they do well, which is run. So I could see the Bills winning a really tight game in which the defenses score a little bit, and it's like 23-17 type game in which, again, the Bills are going to make mistakes in this game because Josh Allen can't stop turning the ball over 4 times last night. But if you cut that in half or just do 1, I think the Bills can walk away with this, because even with the 4 turnovers, the Bills almost won that game. So if you cut those out or cut it down to at least 1, then I do think the Bills can walk away with the win here at home and save their season. It's going to be a good game. It's going to be a tense game. Seahawks play the Rams. The Seahawks are only favored by 1 with an over-under of 46. Rams coming off a bye. I think Carson Wentz is starting this game, so I'm going to go with the Seattle Seahawks. I think the Seahawks secondary pretty much can shut down the Rams passing attack. Not really sure what the Rams are going to do running wise. So, their offense will probably be pretty dead, and I could see the Seahawks defense, even if it's kind of scratchy, hit and miss, completely shutting down whatever the Rams run at them. And yeah, I don't know. Seahawks should win this game pretty comfortably. Sunday Night Football, we got some good ones. The Minnesota Vikings take on the Denver Broncos. Broncos are favored by 2.5 with an over-under of 43.5. Minnesota beat the Saints 27-19. And it's been a fun run with the Josh Dobbs situation, but I do think it comes to a close here on Sunday Night Football against Russell Wilson and his Denver Broncos. I don't know. The Broncos defense suddenly is playing a lot better. Again, I said I'd give them their credit. They seem to have fixed themselves after that terrible game versus Miami. Because again, they gave up 22 to the Bills. They've only given up some to the Packers. They shut the Chiefs down. So again, it's like, all right, now Denver seems to have gotten their stuff going here. This was a big prove-it game because again, it's like, yeah, I'm not that impressed by the Packers or a division foe. I'm impressed by what you did against the Bills. It shows that you fixed a lot of the faults and the things that were wrong. So again, now we're playing Josh Dobbs, and again, they should have Jefferson back. They'll have Addison. Run game is probably going to be really bad with Chandler and Gaskins for the Vikings. We'll see how that plays though. I just feel like the Broncos are going to get this. I think defensively they're starting to click a little bit, starting to play good football on defense. I think that their offense has been pretty good, pretty consistent all year, to the point where the Vikings hit and miss defense might have some problems with that. I don't know. I feel like the Broncos are playing like really good, like white hot football, just like the Vikings are. But with the Vikings, I feel like they're on like a shelf time. Like they have a limited expiration date, because we know at some point Josh Dobbs will turn back into a human like he usually does, and this great play goes away. It happened the same way in Arizona. He started out like a monster, and then within like 3 or 4 games, he was pretty much back to normal. And I think that's the situation we're going to see here. I don't know. I've been pretty good about this, and it's nothing against the Vikings, because again, I do think that they're much improved, but it's like a situation where I think this is where the clock strikes 12 for Josh Dobbs, and we see the Broncos and Sean Payton get to 500. Going to be a good game. I'm really excited for that one. It's a deceptively really good game. Monday Night Football, another game. This is probably the game of the week. We have Thursday night, which is a game of the week candidate, and then we end the week on arguably the best Monday Night Football game in a long time. The Philadelphia Eagles take on the Kansas City Chiefs. Both teams fresh off a bye, so they're ready to fucking go. Super Bowl revenge written on the Eagles' face. The Chiefs are favored by 3 with an over-under of 46.5, and I got the Eagles winning this one. Number 1 point for that. The Eagles play their best football versus good teams. It's the easiest, like all of the bad games the Eagles have played have been against the bad football teams. The Jets beat them. The Commanders almost beat them. Like they look bad against, but like when they play like the Cowboys, they kind of shat on. Like they did really good against them. Not the recent one. They almost lost to the Cowboys. But like again, they play the Dolphins. They beat them. They play whenever they seemingly play a playoff team or a good team. We see the Eagles come to this like super focus and they win this game. They don't dilly dally. They play 100% like. And we've seen that time and time again this year from them, where they beat the good teams and struggle versus the bad teams. And Kansas City is a very good team. You know, they're the #1 team in the AFC, if you haven't heard. And with Kansas City, defensively, they're very, very good this year. It's very hard to play against this defense. They've been picking up the slack for the offense, which, again, that's been Kansas City's only problem this year, is they've kind of struggled on offense. They don't really have the best run game. The really only pass-catching threat is still just Travis Kelce. Mahomes is playing as good as he can. I have him as a leading MVP candidate because of the fact that we're really actually seeing him start to like become like the elevating quarterback that's like doing things with very little. So I do respect that out of the Chiefs, and it's just something about the way the Eagles play good teams. I think the Chiefs, with the limited offensive capabilities that they do have, again, the only time we've really seen the great Chiefs offense this year is like the Bears game, and I think one other game. I think the first Broncos game, maybe. But again, it's their offense is has this weird limited capability to it with the lack of dangerous receivers, the limited running game, and Travis Kelce being all they really got. Against an Eagles team that is super motivated by revenge at this point. Because again, you got to remember how much shit the Eagles have talked. They're going to be out for this game for blood against a team that isn't as talented as them. And like you have a Eagles team that also plays its best football against good teams. So you have all these things weighing against the Chiefs in this one. Whereas like they're just like, we're just trying to win this game and keep our pace in the AFC. It's just like, I feel like the Eagles have like way more on the line to win this, other than the Chiefs are like home and they have Mahomes and a good defense. It's like they have a few things going for them. The better quarterback, better defense, in my opinion. Arguably better coach. Equal coaching. Maybe better coaching because of experience, sure, I guess. Even though Sirianni's a way better team builder and a way better fucking clock manager and a way better strategist. Whatever. I like the Eagles to win this game for all those reasons. Mainly because they're really good against good teams. Revenge factor. And I just think the Eagles are a more talented offense. So I think if things come down to it, I trust the Eagles offense right now more than the Chiefs offense. So give me the Eagles. All right. That's about that for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed the picks video this week. I tried to make it a little bit more comical, a little silly, a little bit fun. This is annoying. I don't know why this is like this. This red square. Go away. Anyway, thank you guys for listening. I hope you have a good rest of your day, night, morning, mid-afternoon, mid-evening. You know, that time between like, I don't know, like 3 and 5. Like, is that mid-afternoon? I think that's mid-afternoon. I'm going to look up like what the time like phrases are soon. That'd be fun. Anyway, thank you guys for listening. That's week 11 down the drain, in the tubes, down the dumps, whatever you want to say. We got it done. Isn't it cool how that just goes back into forever? Like, whoa. But anyway, again, leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. Leave your picks down below. I'll be sure to get back to those as soon as I can. And yeah, thank you guys for listening. I appreciate you. We're at 8,500 subscribers. I didn't think we'd ever get to that number. Thank you very kindly. Yeah, I'm going to get out of here before this video is too long and I bore the shit out of you. Thank you so much again for listening. If you made it all the way through, go Lions, go Tigers, and of course it's always go Patriots, even though they're like one of the worst teams I've ever seen. They can't play offense. Mac Jones probably lost his job. It's still go Patriots. See you guys. Have a good day. Bye.